Hello, I'm Llewellyn King, and I am talking to Paul Vosbeek of Real New Energy about tidal power. And we refer to tidal power at a conference like this one, a specialized conference, as hydrokinetic power, marine hydrokinetic power. That is a name which will turn off the public because they don't know what it means. What does it mean?
It means that you derive the energy from the movement of water. And the movement of water could be wave energy, where you have vertical movement that you can then transform into energy, but it could also mean a flow, and the flow of water could happen when we start small, it happens in rivers, where you obviously have a continuous 24/7 water flow that you can then use to power your devices from. If you expand it further out towards the coastline, it becomes tidal. So there you have the motion of water coming in towards the land and removing from the land. And then, of course, if you go far out in the ocean, there's something called ocean streams, which are very slow moving but very ginormous power potential. The devices that are applied for this, of course, vary. So there is, as you already mentioned, there's wave energy devices, there's marine hydrokinetic devices that derive power from the stream, and there's combinations. And then there's, of course, on top of that, there's ocean energy devices that derive energy from the temperature differences between the various flows of power.
You're partnered with a Dutch company.
Correct.
What is that?
The Dutch company I'm partnered with is called Tocardo. And Tocardo is a company that has been active in wind energy for many, many decades, and has, in about 10 years ago, diversified into water energy. And the reason behind it is basically there's about 600 to 800 times more power in water than there is in wind. So imagine the potential.
And it's continuous.
And it's continuous, and it's very predictable. So it makes hydrokinetic power, marine hydrokinetic power, a very attractive alternative to the renewable energy spectrum. The reason why it has been not as far advanced as there are wind energy or solar energy is partially because it's a very complicating technology requirement. And you can imagine getting wind turbines up and running and keeping them running in open air is already a complex matter, as you all know. Doing the same thing underwater in saltwater conditions with high, tremendous powers and pressures is just very complicating. And so at this conference, there's a whole realm of technology companies that have invested heavily for decades into developing and progressing these technologies. To go back to the Dutch company Tocardo, they have a turbine in the water and grid connected since 2008, which de facto makes them a technology leader in the field of marine.
What size is that turbine?
They have the one that's in the water is a 50 kilowatt demo pilot. It's in a big barrage that connects one part of the Netherlands with the other. As you know, our country is below the sea level, so the Dutch know how to deal with water, and that's where these people come from. That's where the engineering expertise comes from.
What do these devices look like? Are they windmills in the water?
It looks comparable. It's a horizontal axis turbine. Of course, the blades are much smaller. The blades are rounded. They spin slower than wind turbines. They don't have to spin as fast because of that power that comes from the water. And it basically looks like a small windmill underwater. But of course, you don't see it because it's underwater when it's deployed.
And how deep is it? How far down do they put it?
Well,
so it doesn't interfere with boats and ships.
Exactly. Well, it depends really on the condition and the situation where you deploy it. You can connect it to bridges or to water barrages or to locks and dams. And then, of course, it's really close to the surface, but you could also, there's also designs where you actually mount it on a monopile at the bottom, at the riverbed or at the seabed, which then puts it much deeper.
Rivers don't have the same pollution problem that the ocean does. The ocean is very corrosive, and there are all kinds of special effects that you wouldn't think of, like electrolysis. How do you deal with those?
Well, we currently don't have anything deployed in the ocean yet. So the development path that Tocardo and we are taking is first deploy these devices at somewhat smaller scales, so 50 to 200 kilowatts in river and tidal conditions, and then as we develop the technology, we progress it, we mature it, and we learn not just on the turbine technology, but also on the hookup structure, on the grid interconnection, and all those components that are very important. Then we will transform and evolve to go further out into the ocean, which is when we will encounter and cover and deal with these issues that you just mentioned.
Finally, what are you doing in the United States?
I'm here to basically bring new, promising and innovative renewable energy solutions and technologies to this country, because the potential for sustainable energy in the US is enormous, and there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of technologies and innovations available in the rest of the world that, if brought to this country and positioned carefully in this market, it can make a tremendous difference for the energy transition in the United States. And that's what I'm here to do.
Marvelous. Thank you so very much.
Thank you
Good
so
luck
much for
to
your
you, Paul.
time. Thank you.